So the T-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're...
Just when you believed that the world of sports media was at last prepared to accept excellence, Colin Cowherd drops a truth bomb that pierces through all the political correctness, noise, and meticulously constructed narratives that have been shielding the true story base, just when you thought they were ready to unabashedly celebrate the generational talent that is Caitlin Clark.
These players are so damn pissed off that there's one player that has sparked all of this. Attendance, ratings, viewership, gate revenue, all this. Not only that, but they set back. She makes a dig like this after literally just seeing All-Star Game tickets dropped by 50% in value. They literally went from an average walk-in price of $121 to 64 bones. $64 to get in once Caitlin Clark's injury came out that she wasn't going to play.
By real story, I mean the unsettling truth that has been glaring at us for months. The WNBA should be celebrating their golden goose, their ratings magnet, their literal salvation, but instead they have enabled a culture of jealousy, bitterness, and yes, let's say it aloud, ethnic bias to thrive.
If you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking. I don't mind the T-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Like fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel as a band member. So
After decades of commentating games and analyzing sports psychology, Colin Cowherd finally uttered what everyone else has been too scared to mutter. Cowherd revealed the unpleasant side of what's truly behind the animosity toward the Iowa phenomenon during a recent episode of The Herd.
Colin Cowherd, he's got the biggest radio show in the country. A guy that he could lose all the bets 2 years ago. He could lose all the bets. Maybe this side of being at gunpoint 2 years ago, this man is not talking about the WNBA. But he has come out and he has talked about the fact that Caitlin Clark is the one that's moving the needle. Caitlin Clark has made him reevaluate the way he takes vacation during the off-football.
Clearly, there's a component here, Cowherd said. He then unlocked a door that the sports business had been frantically attempting to keep closed. Creating clicks wasn't the goal of this heated take. This was a seasoned announcer who has dedicated his professional life to comprehending the psychology of sports, suddenly recognizing what the statistics, voting trends, and on-court conduct have been screaming for months.
It's going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be. So I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that...
The evidence is damning and overwhelming. Caitlin Clark, the lady who turned the WNBA from an afterthought into appointment television, was selected as the 9th best guard in the league when WNBA players were asked to vote for all-star guards. The 9th. Players who couldn't attract attention to a picnic if their lives depended on it came in 9th place, not 2nd or 3rd.
Oh, crazy. And part of this is their way to like I said, middle finger Caitlin Clark supporters and her fans. And I mean, sometimes I wonder, are they hoping for the soundbite? I don't get it. But it makes them look absolutely terrible. They thought they were going to come into the league and capture everybody's imagination, and I was a hot shot coming in from college. Watch me, the ratings are about to take off. Asia Wilson walked in, and it wasn't even a bleep on the radio.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. Take a moment to consider that. With a record-breaking 1.3 million votes, Clark was chosen as the Guard of the Year by the fans, who really pay to see these games. She received a third-place vote from the media, experts tasked with impartially assessing talent. She shattered viewership records, packed out arenas, and obtained private jets for the league, but her own peers, the women who share locker rooms and practice facilities with her, decided that 8 guards were more worthy of praise. There are no limits to the pettiness, Cowherd noted. And he's entirely correct. This is more than simply pettiness, though. It's something much more subtle. It is impossible to ignore the image that is painted when you consider the targeting, the physical play, the pattern of behavior, and now the voting results.
Colin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting, for years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose, and they don't like what it looks like.
Caitlin Clark had a perfect injury record going into the season, which is unparalleled in her basketball career. Clark had been the epitome of health and durability during his 4 years at Iowa, playing 139 straight games and participating in every game of the debut WNBA season, including the playoffs. She actually had no injuries. She was a strong woman who could withstand the demands of professional basketball without losing her cool. After her second WNBA season, the player who had never missed a game because of an injury in her career was suddenly sidelined 10 times. Basketball's most resilient player is now a vulnerable patient who spends more time in hospitals than on basketball courts due to 3 different injuries: a left quad strain, a left groin injury, and a right groin injury.
That's what we was saying. Like, y'all don't think like all that hacking her and fouling her nonstop, all like y'all should have just y'all, like, it wasn't smart for like, y'all have the negotiations now. Like, y'all are negotiating now. Why would y'all want her to be out and it reflecting the numbers? Like, why would...
This abrupt change from being injury-free in the past to being sidelined all the time isn't occurring alone. It's taking place in a league where rival players have acknowledged that they approach Clark in a unique way. Asia Wilson is currently not being picked up full court, according to one analyst. Caitlin Clark is treated differently by them. They take a different stance with Caitlin Clark. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has been picked up from full court and treated differently for the past 2 years in a row. For her, the physicality has been different. Legendary UConn coach Gino Orama felt obliged to speak up because the targeting is so clear. Clark is being singled out with physical play that goes beyond what is typically expected of a rookie. I can't recall when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird entered the NBA and raised the NBA. Because of their identity and the attention they were receiving, they were singled out and beaten.
This game is actually fun to watch until you see 3 women, basically box in Caitlin Clark and take a shot. Just boom. What is that about? And then you see the WNBA officials who completely disregard it, just like it didn't happen. I mean, I've seen moves by these women that look like lamb beer on Bird, and there's not even a foul called, much less a guy being thrown.
However, this is where Cowherd's insight really shines. This goes beyond basketball. This is about Clark, a young, white, straight woman from the Midwest of America who has emerged as the face of a league that has historically been dominated by athletes who identify as LGBTQ+ and Black. According to one scholarly research, Clark has evolved into a male sportscaster's stand-in in a league that was formerly largely composed of Black and LGBTQ athletes that the general public felt comfortable glancing at. Many WNBA players and establishment leaders appear more upset about who is delivering success to their league than appreciative of the achievement itself, which is an uncomfortable reality that Cowherd revealed. They desired to take a private flight. They desired greater popularity. They will receive the better deal they sought in the CBA. They desired arenas to be sold out. They understood, Cowherd said. They simply don't believe that this is how things ought to be. Fans are posting about the missed calls, the double standards, and the blatant bias against Clark on social media.
Racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success.
This is especially destructive because it forces mainstream analysts, like Cowherd, who have historically avoided contentious issues, to admit what is taking place. According to ESPN's renowned college basketball expert Dick Vitale, the All-Star voting results are nothing more than jealousy. Michelle Toya called the WNBA women's vote an activist one, saying they couldn't stand her success. The pattern of conduct by WNBA officials and referees is much more disturbing. Clark is seen on video after video absorbing contact that would have resulted in egregious fouls for other players, but officials either treated it as a common fall or made no calls at all. These females have been working hard to improve the WNBA's basketball game, and it shows when she even flinches after missing a shot. They have been working hard to increase the sport's global audience. Throughout all of this, they have been working hard. Then there's this lady from college who is a complete transformation. She has essentially taken on the role as the league's face.
She is a white girl in a predominantly black league who's better than all of them. Even with everything that's going right now with the Pay Us What You Owe Us shirt, you saw Kelsey Plum at the end of it tattletale basically and bring out Caitlin Clark about her team not being there. So there's always...
What George and others miss, however, is this. No one gave Clark anything. Record-breaking performances, clutch play, and a strong work ethic that led her to play in 139 straight games without being hurt at Iowa rewarded her every bit of her success. It is absurd to believe that her achievement is somehow unmerited or that she must gain the respect of players who are unable to provide even a small portion of her influence. This isn't about basketball merit, as Cowherd revealed. It's about dissatisfaction that the WNBA's public image doesn't reflect what some people believe it ought to. If she happens to be the cash cow right now, embrace it, said basketball icon Nancy Lieberman, urging WNBA players to support Clark instead of disparaging her. Avoid being petty. However, the pettiness persists and is beginning to have tangible repercussions. Rather than applauding her comeback, the league let the targeting go on until her body finally failed.
The league loses over $40 million a year and has never profited in its 28-year history. Caitlin Clark is the only one that has brought some relevance to the game, and it's still unwatchable. I don't care who you are. If you say otherwise, you have no credibility. This is more like a rec league. They should be paying $100 per person. The only difference with their rec league is we are forced to watch it and hear about it on news media outlets all the time.
The most frustrating aspect is that Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA's commissioner, keeps downplaying the clear targeting, claiming that fans are merely seeking the desired result when they criticize the aggressive play. As opposing players acknowledge that they treat her differently than anybody else, this commissioner has seen the biggest star in her league go from being historically injury-free to being sidelined all the time. The league's golden goose, and they're systematically allowing her to be brutalized, Cowherd said. You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water, Cowherd told the WNBA players who were complaining about Clark. You're flying private now. Don't discuss your problems with others. Clark used to be an iron lady who never missed a game, but now her body is failing due to the ongoing physical abuse and harassment.
But nobody was watching. I seen them Asia Wilson ratings. I seen the ratings on your supposed superstars. 400,000 viewers. 329,000 viewers. The big three was whipping the shit out of the WNBA on ratings for a good while. I mean, sometimes tripling the WNBA up. I've seen Big Three ratings where they're getting, 6, 7, 800,000 viewers on it. And before Caitlin Clark come around, they wasn't.
It's not simply uncomfortable what Cowherd revealed. It is a critique of all that the WNBA purports to stand for. They discuss expanding the sport, honoring female athletes, and planning for the future. However, they let petty bitterness take precedence over thankfulness when a generational talent is shown who truly achieves all those objectives. It is seen by the fans. It is beginning to be recognized by the mainstream media. Colin Cowherd and other analysts are finally voicing what everyone else has been thinking. Basketball isn't the only thing happening here. It's also unsightly. It is harmful. It poses a threat to the success Caitlin Clark has built for all those involved.
Caitlin Clark plays in the All-Star game, it will set records. But now, because of her popularity, even if she doesn't, it will break records and be the second highest ever. Only beaten by the time she played in it. And
the question now is whether the WNBA will pay attention to voices like Cowherd's before wasting the chance Clark has given them, or if they will keep going in this direction until their golden goose decides she has had enough of being singled out, hurt, and treated disrespectfully by the league she saved. To put it simply, Caitlin Clark saved the WNBA. And Colin Cowherd revealed just how they are treating her in return. A poisonous concoction of blindness, prejudice, and jealousy that could kill the golden goose that laid the egg they've all been waiting decades to.